Well, hey, what's up everybody? It's the Cartoon Fiend, and today, as promised, we're taking a look at video game cartoons. Now, if you think back at your childhood, what are just some of the most important aspects of any given weekend? It was probably number one, a new shiny video game you either bought or rented from the video game store, or number two, Saturday morning cartoons. Now, when Nintendo was hitting its peak popularity, they decided to combine the two. I mean, as kids, we were just going crazy. I mean, a DuckTales video game and a Super Mario Brothers cartoon show. I mean, how could you go wrong with that? That just seems so exciting. And you know, I know for a lot of you probably have a lot of nostalgic value tied to some of these shows. I mean, I know I did when I started doing some research. But after watching some of these, I gotta be honest with you, most of those shows were just total crap. I mean, some of the shows, they just didn't have a lot of material to go off and make full-length episodes with. I mean, like Super Mario Brothers, for example. I mean, it's about two plumbers. You can't do a whole lot with that. But anyway, today we're going to be looking at 4 shows mainly, and then a group of shows that are just about video games. So, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy my look back at some of the best and worst video game cartoons. Alright, let's start off with the classic Super Mario Brothers. Now, with Super Mario Brothers, there were 3 shows, or 3 series. There was a Super Mario Brothers Super Show. It lasted 2 seasons. It had a lot of episodes, actually, 65. And it had these like live action guys that I guess were supposed to be Mario and Luigi, and every once in a while they'd have guest stars like pro wrestlers, Magic Johnson, and even the Ghostbusters, which was kind of cool. And then after a while in the summer they got this, it was pretty much the same show, but they called it Club Mario, and they had these like teenagers with skateboards that hosted the show instead of the Mario and Luigi characters. And then there was the Super Mario Brothers 3 show, which kind of came out with the launch of the video game, which is widely regarded as the best game for the NES. And then with the Super Nintendo release, they had the series Super Mario World. But overall, there was one main problem with this show. There wasn't a whole lot of material to draw from. I mean, take a look at the movie. Remember how good that was? I mean, there's just not a whole lot to draw from. I mean, the game's about 2 Italian plumbers that go around and kill turtles and Goombas and save a princess from a dinosaur. Now, granted, the Super Mario Brothers 3 series had a little bit more to work with because it had the Koopa Kids. You know, they did a lot more with the actual game. But overall, there just wasn't a whole lot to work with. Sure, each new series as it progressed, there was new characters because they drew it from the game. But overall, it wasn't the worst cartoon based on a video game, but it was definitely far from the best. Overall, I'd probably give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. More or less for nostalgic value. I mean, I remember it was pretty cool to see Mario in a cartoon, so I'm not going to knock it too hard, but again, it's not really the animator's fault. Adores Link because he's always rescuing her, but in the show, she's almost annoyed by him. You know, he's like rescuing her, you know, once every 3 episodes. And there's like this running joke in the show about how he always deserves a kiss or something, and she's always like meeting him with some kind of sarcasm or whatever. And then he's got this stupid line. "Excuse me, princess." Oh God, you watch maybe 2 episodes of this series and you're gonna get sick of that phrase. I mean, it's bad enough that it's in the intro, but he uses it like twice an episode. And it's not even that funny. I don't understand why they put it in the show. You know, it's just like any typical kids cartoon. You know, you got the main bad guy in Ganon, and he's always trying to steal the Triforce, or, you know, capture the Zelda, and then Link's got to save her. And again, she meets him with like this malcontent or whatever, like he's more of an annoyance than anything else. And so that doesn't really coincide with the show, and it just makes for the show just to be more annoying than anything else. You'd think that they might be able to like draw out the story from the game in like this epic series, but no, they don't. They just take random adventures with Link, Zelda, and Ganon in every episode. It's not entertaining, it's not funny, it's just annoying. So I would definitely not recommend this, even for you hardcore Zelda fans. I mean, this show is infamous for being bad. So, bottom line, I give the show a 1 just for being a show, nothing else. Alright, so before I go on and talk about some of my personal favorite series based on video games, I'm going to talk about a couple shows that were just about video games in general. Now, one of them was called Saturday Supercade. It was just kind of this show that had little mini episodes within it about different video game cartoons. You know, it had Mario in it, Donkey Kong, Q*bert, had some stuff from Pitfall. It was pretty entertaining. A lot of people didn't really know about it. And, you know, it had some pretty good voice acting. You know, it had B.J. Ward, Peter Cullen, some classic actors in it. And then the other one, I think the one that more people are familiar with, is Captain N. Now this show was about a kid that kind of got sucked into the video game world. Try to help out the video game world, and you know, they would go to different lands in each episode, and it starred various cartoon characters from video games, you know. So it had Simon from Castlevania, it had Kid Icarus, and it had Mega Man. Now, the one gripe I had about this show is the characters barely represent the people they're supposed to. If you don't know that that's who they are, then you won't get it. Like, look at this, Simon. He doesn't look like Simon. If anything, he looks like Sid from Final Fantasy VII. And who's this? Is this supposed to be Mega Man?
Simon Belmont? Kid Icarus? Mega Man?
Yeah, I guess it is. When does he ever wear glasses? I mean, did these people ever even watch or play the video games? I mean, it's totally ridiculous. They should have just paid more attention and really gave the characters costumes closer to what they actually were. I mean, Mega Man looks like a frickin' wimp. He looks like a little kid with glasses and ugh. But the show itself wasn't actually that bad. You know, it was kind of innovative for the time, you know, combining real life and animation. So it was pretty cool. It was one that I enjoyed. You know, they promoted a lot Nintendo Power and Adventure, so I think a lot of kids liked it. It lasted for quite a few seasons. Overall, not bad.